to Let's Talk, and today we're doing a special video for you. We're going to be talking about the original trilogy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films, because Matt's a huge fan of them, and he really wanted to make this video and show off that Blu-ray set, because it's one of the best. So that's what we're going to do today. So Matt, why don't you tell them why you're such a fan of the Ninja Turtles and this box set in general, those first three movies?
So without doing a whole life story, as a kid I was always a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles. I loved the cartoon, and these live action movies I had on VHS, and I probably watched the hell out of them. Particularly number 3 for some reason, because I never had number 1, and My Secret of the Ooze Part 2 was a little iffy. So I watched Part 3 the most, which is not really my favorite one, but out of nostalgia, I love them all. But I've watched these movies so many times, and I just absolutely love the Ninja Turtles. My father liked the Ninja Turtles, so this was, I guess it was a bonding thing between the two of us. But we really enjoyed watching them all the time, and I had all the action figures. I had a Ninja Turtles lunchbox. I had clothes, shoes. I was decked out, well, the whole 9 yards, Ninja Turtles, everything.
Oh yeah, I was not as big a Ninja Turtles fan as Matt is. I watched these films. This is really the only thing about Ninja Turtles I ever knew that, and then the TMNT game that came out on the 360 years later.
Which was the 2007 movie.
Yeah, spin-off game.
Tie-in game. Yeah.
And I always recognized the actor who played Casey Jones in other things like Look Who's Talking To or Crash from '96, directed by David Cronenberg. I always recognized the actor, but I was never a big TMNT guy. I had the VHSs. My brother watched them a lot. But I wasn't the biggest fan. Like, I liked them, I had fun with them, but they were never like, I was never in love with them. I'm sure you've noticed in our videos that there's an arcade game that Matt has the cabinet for the TMNT game.
Yeah, the arcade one-up cabinet, the 4-player. It's got both of them. It's got Turtles in Time and the original Ninja Turtles game.
Yeah.
The arcade game.
Yeah, so those were a lot of fun, and like I did enjoy those. I had the Super Nintendo game, so like it just wasn't my thing, but I know Matt loves them. And actually, the last time I watched them was when he first got this box set, but you just rewatched all these, didn't you?
Yeah, I just rewatched them all. I actually haven't watched them in quite a few years now, and I did notice that they're geared for children. There's a couple things in there for the adults, but they are, at the end of the day, probably kids' movies. They were aiming for that, probably like 10 to 12, maybe 8 to 12 or 14-year-old demographic. And it shows, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. They're a little corny. Corey Feldman, the voice of Donnie in Part 1 and 3, there was a controversy in number 2 where they wouldn't give him enough money or something like that to voice him in Part 2. But he came back for 3, and if you actually watch the credits in 3, it shows you all the voices of the Turtles, but Donnie's missing, and then it scrolls up and it says... And also featuring Corey Feldman as Donatello. Like, he got his own special credit as I guess
like that was a part of the agreement. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
I noticed it last night because I knew there was a thing. I forgot which one he wasn't in, and when I was watching the credits, I saw that last night. I was like, oh, this motherfucker.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know if he's the winner or not. I mean, he got one up on the studio.
Yeah, but these movies are just so fun. You know, they're singing, dance. They're kids. You know, they're teenagers, and they're mutant, and they're turtles, and they know karate.
Yeah.
So,
what'd you think of the effects, though? Because, like, think about it, this is very early '90s practical effects.
Well, it's all practical effects. So gradually the suits change per movie, and I don't think any of them are bad. I think the hardest thing to really get used to is the way the mouths and the eyes move sometimes. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's something you overlook for this. And I don't think the practical effects are terrible, because I mean, there's no CGI from what I remember. I didn't catch any. There might be like...
there definitely could not have been CGI. It's 1990 at least for the first one. Maybe by 93 for 3, but maybe?
Yeah, there's a little special effects in 3 when they're going back in time with the scepter. There's some lightning and stuff like that, and a little bit of green screen, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's true. And out of the 3 films, which one did you like the most? And are they all good, or...?
It's really hard. I think the original, the first one, the 1990, that's like I would say, the darkest and grittiest of them all.
That's my personal favorite. I like the first one the most because
Yeah.
the second one we go right to Vanilla Ice doing the
The
ninja rap.
Go Ninja, yeah,
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
That's
like,
awesome. I absolutely love that.
But it's a little such totally
That
different.
scene.
It is an awesome
That
scene.
scene when they're dancing. Well, they're dance fighting, I guess. and then the scientist is going like this, and they're having a great time, and everyone in the club. I live for that. I eat that up. That's awesome. I absolutely love that scene. And then the music is, particularly 3 that has Tarzan Boy.
Yeah.
You know, I love that song.
Yeah, man. Every time Tarzan Boy comes into anything, he has to make a note of it. It's like
And
he's
it's
waiting
because
for it.
of this movie.
That makes sense. You definitely
It's because of this movie, because I've seen it so many times, and now I can tie it to that, because as I got older, like, because sometimes you hear something like this, and I never knew the name of the song, but now I know what it is. I'm like, oh my god, that's from the Turtles movie. That's why I love it so much.
That does actually make a lot of sense about you. I wouldn't have ever thought of that, but you're right. You did burn the hell out of these VHSs when you were a kid, or at least 3.
Actually, I have the VHSs.
No, you don't, do you?
Sure do.
So those are the original VHSs?
Yeah, talking about burning them up. These are the original. This one was not my original.
Oh, okay.
That one I think I got from my cousin.
I actually
think I got that from Patricia, maybe.
It's so funny because I got my VHSs from my stepdad's brother, Brian. He gave me his.
And here's my Secret of the Ooze, part 2. And remember what I said? It was a little iffy. I don't know what happened to that little flap.
Well, yeah,
but-
now the film's
But
exposed.
the film was exposed.
Yeah. So
But yeah, this was my original, and then this was my original part 3.
I can't believe that you have these. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then you press the little button and you could...
I still got the
I
smell.
never understood why it did this.
Yeah, you know, you think...
Oh, well, the VCR opens it up and that's how it reads it. Okay.
Yeah, you should probably know how a VCR works.
Yeah.
You know, in our defense, I haven't looked at a VCR probably since 2002 when I got my
These are
relics of the time. Like, yeah.
these are a big deal to me. One of my favorite trilogies of all time.
Well, since you're such a fan of them, let's talk about the Blu-ray set. That they haven't gotten to 4K yet, but they did release an awesome Blu-ray.
Yeah, so this actually has the 2007 TMNT animated film in it as well. But it's the 25th anniversary of the Turtles, and it is actually a pizza. Like, you look on the back, and it's got like the grease stain from the pizza on the cardboard. And then you open it up like a pizza box, and each disc is a different pizza with different toppings. So the original, you got pepperoni, because I guess pepperoni's arguably the best topping.
It's definitely the best topping.
And then number 2, Secret of the Ooze. It looks like we have maybe a supreme slice.
Grandma slice? I don't know.
Yep. And then you dig deeper into the box, and then you got part 3 is just regular cheese, and then the cartoon movie is like olives and jalapenos and all that. But there's also a ton of extras in here. Now, Eastman and Laird, I think this is the original. So this is a comic. I believe started the Turtles comic, and that's what came into, because those were much darker also. So I guess that's why the first movie is much darker. This is a complete comic book of the entire movie. Now,
That's awesome.
yeah, this is really cool. So check that out.
Oh, I'll grab it.
This is just showing you which film is on there and on each disc. This has a little...
It's nice.
this is like a marketing thing for a Ubisoft game at the time. Turtles Smash 'em Up. I actually don't know what that is.
I did play a game based on the animated movie from 07.
We got some more merchandise and
Costumes.
Yeah, costumes. There was a phone app. I think this is what was on the back of the box.
Yeah, that ripped off off the steelbooks.
Yep.
That's
So
exactly what
apparently
it
there was a beanie. I don't remember having the beanie. And there's character cards in here. So they got a nice little envelope. And then it's got pictures of that. This is probably from part 3, I would say, because that's the most defined the costumes looked. But we got Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, which is my personal favorite, or Michelangelo. I don't know. I go back and forth. Splinter. You got April from part 3 with the scepter, and Casey Jones.
Old Casey.
Oh, and the Shredder's in here.
Look at that.
Oh, and this is a signed sketch. Very cool.
That is freaking cool. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, so this was they put a lot of extras in here, and it really is for the Turtles fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big Turtles fan.
It's weird that they put so much effort into this, and that was in 2009, and it's been 13 years, and we haven't gotten the 4K set yet.
Well, when did 4K start? You know, I mean, I think we're gonna get there one day. I'm still holding out. I'm holding my breath. I really want these on 4K. I would love to see what 4K would do to these movies.
So what is the quality of these Blu-rays? Because they're pretty old now. It's 2009.
Yeah, surprisingly, they weren't terrible. 3 was notably the best. I think they gradually got better, but that can also have to do with the negative or something like that, you know, because there's only a 2 to 3 year difference, but I think the third one looked light years better. But none of them look terrible. They have 5.1 Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound, so they sounded pretty good, and it looked pretty fine. You know, I definitely want a 4K, and I would love to see a new 4K scan.
Because these have to be old scans. These are old Blu-rays. I mean, this is a 13-year-old Blu-ray we're talking about, and that's our most recent scan of these films.
Yeah, and we don't even know when they were scanned.
Yeah,
you know, so.
We don't know if, the last time they went in there and touched off, it might have been for the DVDs. I'm not even too sure the last time these were even looked at.
But again, they don't look absolutely terrible. It is currently the best way to watch them would be the Blu-ray disc. But, I mean, they sounded good, they looked okay, but we want that 4K.
Yeah, we definitely want that 4K. Yeah, I really hope so. And before we move off of talking about the Ninja Turtles and ask our digital code giveaway question for the week, what did you think of the Michael Bay films from the mid-2000s? Well, the mid-2010s.
With Megan Fox. So, I actually saw them for the first time last year, and they weren't terrible. I held out for a really long time. I boycotted and I didn't want to see it because I was such a fan of these movies and I loved them so much, and just seeing the commercial, the way they looked. So yeah, I ended up getting them cheap. I got the original on Blu-ray and the second one on 4K. Not gonna lie, I actually really enjoyed these movies. You know, you have to, they're kind of like the Fast and Furious movies where you gotta turn your brain off, just accept that some crazy stuff's gonna happen, and just let it roll. And it's actually a good popcorn movie. It's a good time. And I mean, it's not the originals. They are new, you know, it doesn't, to me, I prefer the originals. I like them much more. Maybe it's just the nostalgia speaking, but these aren't terrible movies either.
Hey, no, there's nothing wrong with that. And I figured in honor of your love for TMNT and the 90s and everything, I figured we'd have some sort of 90s question. So, what is everyone's favorite 90s, we'll say cartoon? So you can pick a Nicktoon, a Fox Kids show, or an 80s, but we're going to stick to the 90s, so maybe Batman the Animated Series, Rocko's Modern Life, any of those.
Also, what's your favorite turtle?
Or, yeah, and staying Ninja Turtles, maybe you just want to answer that part. So what's your favorite Ninja Turtle? So just answer one of those two questions, and you get a chance at one of these digital codes, because I just made this beautiful collage that has 30 movies on it, and you can pick any of those. Some of them have doubles, we'll let you know ahead of time. And we're also spinning the wheel twice this week, because last week's winner, Skull Crusher, didn't actually respond to us, man. What happened? Well, if you reach out to us now, we'll still give you a digital code. This week we're spinning it twice because we have an extra digital code from last week, so 2 winners this week. Make sure you guys answer those questions in the comments section below so you're entered, and come back to Monday's video, which is going to be a review of Obi-Wan Episode 4, and we'll be spinning that wheel, and we'll see you then. So thanks for joining us on another episode of Let's Talk, and you guys have a great time, and tell your friends.